It's the Selling for Life podcast.
If you're buying, we're selling.
Here's your three-headed monster, Steve, Big Al, and Kevin. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another installment of the Selling for Life podcast, sponsored by Conoco Parts, a world of parts with a personal touch. And this podcast is about more than just selling stuff. We think if you stick around, you'll get a lot out of it. And if you're buying, we are definitely selling. This is episode 56, or this is episode 57. Can't remember. I'm Steve, joined by sales ninja Kevin Ziliaks, and on the phone, Conoco owner, good friend, and Amazon power shopper, Mr. Al Alexander. Hello, Al.
You've been looking at my Amazon account? I've been shopping like crazy.
You got to be, because you're home still after a couple weeks. It's been a couple weeks now since your little hip replacement, right?
Yeah, it has been. Today is 2 weeks. They did it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, yep. And I would imagine you've probably been online doing lots of stuff to keep yourself
couch,
busy.
shopping.
On the couch, relaxing.
What have you bought?
I go from the bed to the couch to what did I buy?
Yeah, tell us.
Dude, I got some new Nike Air Max 270s, I think it is. They're normally $160. Found them for $70 on Brad's Deals.
Wow.
Nice.
Dude.
That's actually...
So you still only overpaid by 30. That's awesome.
Dude, they cost like $8 to be made by some kid in Indonesia.
I know.
Those are the hip replacement edition, right? Extra cushion?
Yeah.
Extra cushion. I tell you, only wear Air Max, man.
No, I know.
On the running shoes.
Those are the best, actually.
You guys know what time it is?
News headlines.
As always, before we get into our sales stuff, we like to update everybody with going-ons in America and around the world. Al, do you have a headline that you'd like to share with everybody?
Of course I do.
Good.
As usual, I got to bring up something that you're gonna say is a pattern for me. But for decades,
Sex.
Dr. Nassar has sexually abused female patients under the guise of medical treatment.
Oh, my.
Okay. This is in Michigan State University, I guess. He has to pay $4.5 million fine.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, Michigan State does anyways.
Wow, man. You can abuse me all you want for $4.5 million.
Yeah, where do I sign up?
Where do I sign up for that?
Where do I write my name?
Yeah, Dr. Nassar, he got sentenced up to 175 years in prison.
Wow.
He abused dozens of girls and young women. That's just ridiculous.
Terrible.
I mean,
what type of person you got to be to do that? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But what's crazy is, like I said, Michigan State University failed, supposedly, to properly disclose the incidents and notify campus security authorities in like a timely way. Mm-hmm. So they were found liable in that way, and they got to pay out $4.5 million.
Wow, that's crazy. Mine is a New Jersey woman was charged with theft after police say she stole a $2,000 ring from a Costco, took that $2,000 ring to another Costco, went to the jewelry counter, asked to see a $28,000 ring. When she was handed the $28,000 ring, she did a quick switcheroo and handed back the $2,000 ring that she stole and took off with the $28,000 ring, leaving the woman or person at Costco holding the obviously the much less expensive ring, but she apparently got caught, and now she's in a lot of trouble.
Dude, that is genius.
That is a pretty good idea.
It's genius, but
Today it's hard with cameras.
Here's the first thing. When I told this story to a coworker, the first thing that came to my mind is what, guys?
Where's the nearest
Bartering
Costco?
up?
Costco has $28,000 rings?
Oh,
what the heck?
dude.
Costco?
I wouldn't know. I've never
You
been
get a
to one.
$28,000 ring from Costco?
That's crazy. I had no idea. I didn't think
What is
about it.
Costco?
It's like a...
BJ's? Like
yes,
yeah.
it's like a BJ's.
That's funny.
Of all the things about that story that's fairly interesting or intriguing, that's the thing for me is Costco sells $28,000 rings. That's astounding. I had no idea.
Damn.
Kevin, what do you have?
You guys know who Kevin Hart is?
Yes.
Stand-up comedian?
Oh, yes. I heard something
All
about
right,
this.
all right.
Yep.
Pretty funny guy, huh? He was
I love
cruising in.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He was cruising in the Malibu Hills in his 1970 Barracuda with his homeboy, and they crashed into a bunch of different structures. Anyway, the thing is pretty messed up. Anyway, he fractured his spine in 3 places.
Or was it that bad? Well,
Yeah, he fractured in a bunch of different places.
I mean,
his lumbar.
He's about 4'4" tall. So
no, he's not. He's
pretty much
4'5".
He's what?
No, he's 4'5".
4'5". Okay.
Yeah.
So if he's fractured his back in 3 different places, that goes all the
That's
way
his
down his leg.
No, but yeah, he's in pretty rough shape, and he's kind of a health nut too. You know, that's a big setback for somebody mentally like that. It'll be interesting to see what happens with his life after this.
Well, that's it.
Because he has no adversity. You know, really, he's at the top of his game right now.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally, it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from this. He's been in like every single movie.
Wow, that's perfect. Actually, perfect story to get into what we're talking about today. Back to healing, Al. You're how close to coming back to work?
My goal is to come back Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I might work half a day and then feel tired.
Just take another week off.
I don't know. You know what I mean? To take 2 weeks off of work is very difficult. I obviously have been working from home, but so it's kind of like I either work from home, or I work from work. So why not go to work?
Okay.
That's kind of how. But I mean, I love the people I work with. I love going in. I come in around 10:30. I say good morning to everybody. Shake hands, kiss babies. It's awesome.
Well, that does bring us to the topic of the day, and the topic of the day is healing, and most specifically, how to stay productive when you are kind of down and out. Al's got a ton of stuff going on. This was payroll week, and he's running a company, and he's obviously not able to do his job probably the same as when he, before he went out. And that's a kind of a big deal. A lot of people are forced either, there's all types of healing. There's physical healing, there's emotional healing. We're just going to kind of bounce some ideas off each other and how people can make it easier for themselves when they're in the middle of a situation like Al. Al, what has been like the most frustrating thing for you since you gone, when you do go out with something like this, because this is your second your second hip. And by the way, this topic, I am shooting from the hip today on this one.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Steve, for that dad joke segue. I appreciate that. Dad jokes live, baby. Hashtag dad jokes.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, it's okay to take off. You got to realize that. Like I noticed because it's my second hip surgery, so to speak. This recovery is better than the first, thank God. I would have to say rest is needed. So I'm not one to push like a workaholic agenda. You got to chill. So I'm living up as much as I can, and having my children kind of help and do things. If I can probably walk downstairs or walk across the room and get something, and I'm like, basically ringing my little my little bell, for help instead of doing it myself. Mm-hmm. In some instances, just because I think you need rest. The importance of healing is not only physical, but it's like it's emotional. And I think the emotional end of things, for me at least, and maybe many people feel like this, is almost a fighting of pride, where you think like, oh, I don't need any help, or you don't like to ask for help, or that type of thing, and you got to get past that. So this time around is going a lot easier because I've figured out like I got to rely on other people. Mm-hmm. I can't just try to shoulder it myself, or else I'll make my healing process either longer or I'll make it worse. Again, it's just, I think, a mindset too.
Now, Kevin, you take a lot of time off here. You call out pretty much once or twice a week.
Minimum.
When you do take time off, obviously, you take even 48 hours off in this job, and you can get behind real quick. You're going to have a lot of missed calls, a lot of missed opportunities. What are some of the things you do when you know you're going to be out, but you don't want to get too far behind? What are some of the things you do? Like on vacation. If you go on vacation in your job, you are like really behind.
Yeah, especially in this position, there's a lot of missed opportunities. That's the way I look at it, and it's unfortunate. But you got to have that mental break. If you're going on vacation, you're doing that for the mental break, and that's ultimately good. So when you come back, you're rejuvenated because there comes a time when you're like, you know what, I just need a break, and it's mental healing is what it is ultimately, and that's important to do. I would say just as much as taking a break when you're sick.
Right.
You don't want to come back too soon either. You want to stay out. Get fully healed up, and because ultimately, a 70% me is just bringing down the team, in my opinion. Especially if I'm out of it and I'm not myself, and I'm bringing everybody else's mood down, and maybe potentially getting them sick. I just feel like stay out, come back 100%, and be the guy that you are.
All right. So when you go out for vacation, you don't check emails, you don't follow up.
No, I would say you got in a sales position like this, you got your big customers. Like I have my bigger customers have my cell phone.
Okay.
So I can at least point them in the right direction.
Say I totally agree. You're kind of like because I project-based work mainly instead of the transactional stuff, but it's the same concept. You almost have to identify your most valuable time spent. And if you're going to do anything during that, that time, it's going to be the high volume, high dollar, or high return kind of, activity, right? And that's kind of what I scaled back to. What really I learn a lot from that point of like what really is needed and what really isn't almost, what is something you can't give up or that you should do more of even. So like, I love that, Kevin, that you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to unplug because you do need to heal mentally.
Okay. So you got to unplug, you have to heal. And as Al said, you have to kind of get people to help and put your ego aside and get people to come alongside of you to keep things going while you're away, while you're healing. I will add to this is you can't come back before you're ready to come back because then you're still, like Kevin said, you're only going to be 70%. So I think it's perspective, and you just kind of have to just relax. Just know that you're not ready to come back, or you got to heal. It's all part of a process, and don't get stressed out about it at all. It's just part of life, and your productivity is probably going to dip, but it's just part of life, and there's nothing you can do about it sometimes.
Absolutely. It's it's kind of like pushing something off for a better payoff in the future. You know what I mean? I think it's definitely long-term thinking that helps you with that. All
right, so unplug, keep a perspective. Number one, unplug when you need to heal. Get people to help you along the way, and then don't come back until you're ready, truly, fully ready to come back. And then when you come back, Al, what do you do? I mean, you're going to have to go double time to catch up on stuff, or what?
Yeah, I usually kind of take stock of where I'm at. Evaluate because a lot of things could just be worry, not based on fact when you come back. So I love to just talk with everybody, see where we're at, evaluate just where I need to pick up, or just realize like that wasn't needed. Like I said, a lot of things come out when you go away that you realize what's important and what's not sometimes.
Okay, so, that's cool. You can use that time to take inventory, I suppose, is what you're saying, while you're away.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can. What I usually do is, like Kevin suggested, like there's big customers, or there's my favorite this, or the people that I connect with the most. Like if it's a transactional world I'm coming back into, I'm going to actually go after communicating with those people via phone, via email or text, and just even say, "Hey, I'm back," and hey, thanks for being faithful while I was out, or if I seen that they called in and ordered something else, and just catch up. And I do it in a rapid fire way that try to generate momentum, because like you were saying, when you're out, you lose momentum in a transactional position. So you want to generate momentum by going after the high return activities first. And I always love almost systematizing that, so if I can take a few hours and just like burn through as many calls I can do in those few hours to just generate a momentum with the high return activities, like communicate with people that like me or I like, or, good customers, that's what I'm going to do. And I think it'll really be a big momentum booster.
And take advantage of your story and tell them your sad story so they maybe want to buy more from you.
You are the worst. Are you serious? You want to guilt trip people into buying
I'm in so
something?
much
Guilt
pain.
trip that guy.
I'm in
You
so
should
much
spend
pain, but I'm
money.
calling you.
No, but you could turn it into a great story. And a lot of times, people, when you tell them something, they can't wait to tell you their story.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
whoa, you what happened to you? Oh, guess what happened to me?
You had 2 hip replacements. I had 4.
Well,
Oh,
they're not-
yeah.
they're not always one-uppers, but, they always got a story to tell that makes them think about it.
Al, you know what time it is?
News headlines.
Al, you should be ready. You should be used to this by now. Take it away.
Well, I tell you what, folks, whoever's listening in podcast land, check your ego at the door sometimes, because blessing comes to those who are humble. If you need to be beaten under submission by 2 broken hips, then that's what's going to happen, because I was. But I am better for it, people. I am better for it.
Can't wait to see you kicking some field goals, Al. That's going to be great.
Dude, I'll be doing cartwheels.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our 57th Selling for Life podcast. Remember, check us out on Facebook and Twitter. So remember, whether you're selling wedding rings or you're trying to convince a Costco employee you really did give her back the same ring that you were looking at in the first place, one thing is for sure, you are always selling for life.